Hey, Prince Magnum, springtime. It's rolling around. Project Spirit's body. For 4 years, you've had to put stuff on hold. When are you going to get to the body work so she can be repainted and save her from rusting away like the rest of the Mavericks in the world? Stick around, we're going to talk about that. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding, and in these next episodes, along with this one, we're going to start talking about taking a look at doing the body work on Project Spirit. Now, if you've kept up with the channel, then you know who Project Spirit is. If you're new to the channel, or maybe you're coming back after a hiatus and have forgotten who Project Spirit is, well, this is Project Spirit. That's right, my 1975 Ford Maverick four-door. The two doors you could still find. They're pretty, for the most part, for a 70s classic, they're about as commonplace as you can get for a 70s classic. Most everyone shoots for those ones from the 60s. Those cars, your cars from the 60s, and that even includes the four doors and the station wagons. But the Mavericks, there's kind of, a lot of the cars of the 70s have kind of fallen to the wayside. The Maverick, the two-door Maverick, kind of hard to find at times. But then along with that, the four doors are extremely rare nowadays. So with Project Spirit being, one of the few surviving four doors still on the road today, and when I say on the road, I'm talking, a car that is still daily driven, which I think that kind of puts her in a category all of her own. We have to start taking a look at doing body work. So, as we begin to take a look at doing body work, what are some of the things we need? Well, right over here behind me, we've got a sander, we've got a new drill, looking at getting an angle grinder. Those are some of your typical power tools that you need. But that'll help get rid of a lot of the deep rust and grinding welds, and whenever it comes time for welding, we have a place that we could take her, a good MIG welder and things like that. And that'll be, an interesting drive. But we're talking, what about the dents and the dings and the, things like that that have to, that require manipulation. Now, I already hear some of you sitting there saying, go grab yourself some of this and just slap it in there. Some good old 3M Bondo body putty. I know there's some of you that'll just do that. That's good up to an eighth of an inch. If you start getting more than an eighth of an inch, moisture becomes a problem. It can cause it to pop out. You're driving down the road, and then next thing you see is something that looks like mud falling off your car, dried mud. It hits the road, just explodes everywhere, and you've got this huge gaping area that no longer has paint. It's obvious, okay? So, real quick, while we're on the subject of body putty, real quick, I'm going to say it. Yes, this is Bondo body putty, but also understand there are other body putties out there besides Bondo. This is just the most common. So Whenever you know there's been body putty or body filler used, do not just assume that it is Bondo. I hate it whenever we walk up and say, well, you know, the car doesn't have any Bondo in it. No, it might have a different type of body putty in it, you jerk. Kind of like the nitrous oxide thing. But anyhow, got this, you know. We plan on not using very much of this on Spirit. So that means that the, you know, for the dents and the dings and things like that, there's going to have to be manipulation of the metal to bring it back to as close to original as possible. And then, of course, any surface rust has to be ground away, you know, things like that. So that means that we're going to need some body hammers. And I've looked online, and all of the body hammer kits are downright expensive. So what's a feller to do whenever you're on a budget, just like we're doing here on Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding? Well, in the old days, some of the things that we did was quite unique. We would get ball peen hammers and blocks of wood, and if we couldn't reach it, the blocks of wood had to reach so far, and we could pop out those dents. And if you were so inclined, and you know, you could even, if you're worried about it, you know, taking it too far, the blocks of wood could be used to help feather. Basically, a 2x4 and a set of ball peen hammers, any hammer for that matter, can pound out those dents. So why is it that most people don't do this? Well, you hear the words professional body kit, hammer sets and things like that. You hear the word professional and think, oh, well, that's got to be the way to go. No. I've done amazing body work with just simple hammers. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we decided to do while we kind of prepare for this is there's going to be some work done as far as making the right tools, you know, the blocks of wood that will conform to our hands to allow us to feather the metal as we're pounding out those dents, and making the right types of tools that would reach into places so we don't maybe necessarily have to drop fender because it's only got a single, you know, ding in it, and we just need to straighten it out. Get someone on the other side with a block of wood, pound out that dent. So some of the things that we're already doing, and you're going to see how we're doing it, is taking hammers that that have fallen into disrepair, and we're repairing them ourselves. So here on the Prince Magnum channel, we're going to have our own set of custom hammers to work on Project Spirit and Project Lena. Yes, Sebastian. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. Here. This is our little buddy, Sebastian. And we actually found him. He kind of, don't know, he kind of strayed from home, and he just found his way to Princess Faye, and we've been trying to find his family, but if we can't find him a family, we're going to have to foster him. Can I finish this episode? Can I finish this episode? You going to let me? I seem pretty content right now. Okay, with the cat on my shoulder, the best I can. Along with buying up cheap hammers like this 1 pound sledge. Definitely. For the record, Princess Faye has already claimed this particular claw hammer. She calls them Smasher. Currently, right now, as the making of this video, we're also working on, I'm working on one for myself, and I'm also going to be refurbishing this very cheap ball peen hammer, which will give us some extra content as well. So you guys are going to learn how to basically fix the handles and that sort of thing, and along with basically we're going to make the tools that we need for our own body kit, and this will allow this is actually going to be cheaper because with just the 5 hammers that we have and the wood that I have actually more or less found, because in behind HQ, in behind Prince Magnum Channel HQ is basically an area of trees that the city comes through once a year and just kind of cuts them all down. Well, instead of just letting them cut it down and not using the brush, you know, the trees that they cut down, because they do that because there's so many houses and apartment complexes where I live, kind of, sort of, they have to cut that stuff down, or otherwise the snakes will get out of hand, and that's how kids get bitten. Okay, so already I've taken down one tree, and we're going to use this to kind of cut up, to make our blocks of wood and to make the lengths of wood that we need, so we can do any body work to both Spirit and Lena. And yes, Lena does need body work. I got her fender straightened out. We hit a deer. Actually, here, let me just roll this footage. There you have it. Right now it's very hard to do this video with a kitten. Yes, Sebastian, you're cute as can be. Everybody in the world's watching you right now. You know that, right? The other two cats don't like him. I'm enjoying him. Even though he's an unreal little shit. You know that, right? You're an unreal little shit. Go ahead and sit down. Just relax. Okay, so that's what we're going to see in these next few episodes. Pretty much, it's just going to be, you're going to be seeing, one hammer right after the other being fixed, and in the end, we're only going to talk about the one. We might briefly talk about the ones that we didn't refurbish, that we bought them and they were just fine and didn't need to do anything with. It's just one of those things that we needed to, besides the extra content and everything else, this was an opportunity to, to also show you guys some really cheaper ways to do body work on these old cars without spending an arm and a leg. So, all right, so there we have it. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. You ornery little cuss. And be sure to hit the bell icon. Unfortunately, again, I'm going to repeat this. Here on YouTube, just hitting the subscribe button, it doesn't mean as much as it did at one time. So you have to, in order to get notifications, you have to hit the bell icon. All right, and as usual, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is, just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does, and evidently Sebastian does as well. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you. So that's